Good morning to the people. As the Black Panthers will say, power to the people. Tap on in with King Supreme for some of your daily dose. Come get a daily dose of this rhythm and rhyme, game delivered on time. Okay? Shout out to the people for tapping on in. This going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. What's up? What is happening? You already know. I appreciate everybody. So tap into the show. And yes, oh yeah, let me take my earpiece out, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Man, I'm doing good. Shout out to Tyrone. Shout out to Asil 95. Shout out to all my people in the chat to make a long story short. You know, we got Donald Pookie Trump, Mexican Original. Hey man, it's King Supreme in the building. I appreciate you all. So right now, man, we're gonna get into this content, man. We got a drunk Mexican, Sonny. Sonny said that I'm infatuated with Mexican culture. No, I just use you guys for content. There's no infatuation, sir. But Sonny's ignorant. He's a drunk old man. You know, he had too many cervezas. Hey, Holmes, too many cervezas. Charlie, Holmes, too many cervezas. You sound foolish, Sonny. Sonny's a drunk vato. Sonny, there's no infatuation. I'm just using you guys for content, and you're making it so easy for me to use you guys for content. I'm a content creator. I create content. So when you give me content like this, please believe I'm gonna use it. Oh man, shout out to my people, man. I appreciate you all for tapping in. Yeah, you got a drunk Vato, a drunk old school Vato that's talking reckless. And Sonny's old enough to be my grandfather. He's old enough to be my grandfather, so keep in mind, I'm not butthurt about anything. I love it when people call us racial slurs. It just gives me content. I'm not mad about it. I'm not butthurt about it. It's the internet. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not trying to inflict harm. No, I'm not trying to you know, harm anybody. I'm not trying to pursue anybody for what they said on social media. It doesn't bother me like that, but I will use it for content, right? Come on, Sony. Too many cervezos, vato. Chale, ese. Come on, Holmes. Come on, Chale, vato. Come on, Sonny. You need to make videos sober, ese. Stop getting drunk, vato. Oh man. I want you to listen to this drunk grandpa. Sonny's my grandpa. So I'm not mad at Sonny, man. I'm not mad at Cali. Cali Legends Media and Sonny, they're old enough to be my grandfather. So I'm not mad at them, man. It's just content for me. Trust and believe. I don't take it no further than that. But I use their content as an example of the anti-blackness that comes from their community. So it's just content, man. Nobody's mad. I'm not in my feelings. It is what it is. Now, check it out. Let's get into the content. I'm gonna quit running my mouth and give it to y'all.
Madness that is ignorant and does.
Look at this drunk vato. 2 minutes of vessels. Oh, come on, vato. Charlie, Sonny. Stop getting drunk, Holmes. Come on, essay. You need to make a video sober, Holmes.
So once again, I'm gonna bring up this jackass, racist, black podcaster that is talking madness. So once again, I'm gonna bring up this jackass, racist, black podcaster that is talking madness, that is ignorant and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. On one of his videos, he's talking about "Ay Caramba," the Blueface song that apparently Rasa was an uproar about, but I'm Rasa and I can give a rat's ass. But he goes and talk about how racist Rasa was when Rasa went 100 deep to no jumper.
The Rasa did pull up 100 deep. There was Mexicans, El Salvadorians. They're all Rasa. When Hondurans go to the county jail, they run under Southsiders, so they're Rasa, regardless of how you try to paint the picture. If a Jamaican commits a crime, he's still a black man. If an African commits a crime, he's still a black man. If they go to jail, they got to roll with the blacks because they are black. Hondurans are Latinos, Central America, they are Raza. They run with the Southsiders in LA County Jail. They run with the Southsiders in prison, vato. You cannot separate the Hondurans from Mexicans, Holmes. You guys all run together. It's all about the raza, Sonny. Stop trying to separate raza. Come on, Holmes.
Thing about that wasn't he talking about is Mexicanos. Mexicans did that. Mexicans didn't do that. That's how ignorant that dude is. He's talking about how American Cholo and the Mexican was bitching about Ay Caramba.
They were, because Bozo is half Mexican, half El Salvadorian, and he was with American Cholo, and there were other Mexicans with them. Stop playing games. The majority of Latinos in Los Angeles are Mexicano. Let me say this again for you people who are too slow. The majority of Latinos in California are Mexicano, Chicano. That's the reality, Holmes. Come on, vato. Come on, Sonny. Chale ese. You guys went to no jumper 50 deep, vato. You took 50 vatos with you to no jumper to confront Adam 22, Holmes. He's trying to say it wasn't Mexicans, it was Hondurans and Central Americans. Chale, Sonny, come on, vato. It was 50 Mexicanos that went up to no jumper. Why? Because they was pissed off about the Ay Caramba video. Yeah.
Again, I wasn't Mexicans.
He keep trying to say it wasn't Mexicans. He's trying to blame Hondurans. The Honduran population in California is very small. The majority of Latinos are Mexicanos, Chicanos. Come on, vato. Let's be real, fool. Come on, dog.
He's talking about how American Cholo and the Mexican was bitching about Ay Caramba. Again, I wasn't Mexicans. What that ignorant ass doesn't understand is we're not all Mexican. That was a Central American that did all that. That was a man from Honduras. He wasn't Mexican. But this guy, Red Supreme or King Supreme, whatever his gay name is, is so infatuated with our.
He's so drunk. Sonny is so drunk that he said Blueface. No, Tiger made the song Ay Caramba, Ay Caramba. And the Mexican community did they did a 1,000,000-man march to no jumper to confront Adam because they were butthurt. They were in their feelings. You know, and now he's trying to say, oh, it was Hondurans, it wasn't Mexicans. Oh, come on, bro. It was Mexicans too. It was Hondurans and Mexicans. Tiger, the one who made the song. And the Mexican community said that it was very offensive because in the video, Tiger had a sombrero on. He had a sombrero on, a Mexican outfit with tortillas and nachos falling out of the sky, right? And it was ay caramba. And they was pissed off about it. They say he's disrespecting the raza. He's disrespecting Mexicans and Latinos, homes. And American Cholo was the leader of the pack. He was the leader of the pack. He took 50 vatos to no jumper because they was butthurt about ay caramba, ay caramba. They was pissed off about it, vato. It was Mexicans, homes. Chale, fool.
Infatuated with our gente that he blames us for everything. That was a man from Honduras. He wasn't Mexican. But this guy, Red Supreme or King Supreme, whatever his gay name is so infatuated with our gente that he blames us for everything. He blames us for the Ay Caramba incident that had nothing to do with Mexicanos, Mexicans. Mexicans weren't saying anything. That was done by a Honduran. And then he wanted to talk about 50 people going to no jumper. That was done by a Honduran. That wasn't done by a Mexican. Because he is so infatuated with our culture. He's in love with our culture. So he's got to try to find a way to make our culture look like we're not nothing special, but in fact, we must be because he's constantly talking about us.
And listen, Sonny is old enough to be my grandfather, man. So, Sonny, there's no smoke. This is just YouTube content. I don't hate the raza. I don't hate Mexicanos. I just helped a Mexican lady put her tire on her car. She got a flat. She needed somebody with a jack. So I helped her. And I gave her some gas money because she had children in the car. She had no gas and she had a flat tire. I helped this woman. And I did it out of the kindness of my heart. Same way that I've helped a black woman a couple of months ago. So when I seen the lady on the side of the road, I helped her. So there's no racist bone in my body. Not one. Now, I will call out people like you who said they want to march against our reparations. The raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests against black reparations. When it comes to black people getting reparations, tell them no. The raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests against black reparations, homes. These words came out of your mouth. I have the video. I've showed the video several times. I don't have a problem exposing people like you. I'm not mad at the raza. It's content. You give me content. Listen, when you give me things like this, I'm going to use you for content. I'm a content creator. And I'm showing my people all across America how racist some of your people are, including people like you. I'm not blaming this on all Mexican people, but I'm letting people know that you have a lot of Mexicans who agree with this and who think similar to Sonny, who think just like Cali hood legends, Mayata, and all of this. That is common language in the Southsider Serrano community. I'm just kicking game to my people, lacing their boots, lacing them up with game. So they understand what time it is when your people show up in a city so they're not blinded, so that they're not blindsided. Right? Now let's get back to the content. Vato, make sure that you guys bless the like button. It ain't nothing.
In love with our culture. So he's got to try to find a way to make our culture look like we're not nothing special, but in fact, we must be because he's constantly talking about us. Everything he talks about is about raza. He's jealous on our complexion.
Come on, man. I grew up with Mexicans, man. I grew up with Mexicans, so I don't hate them. I just call out the racist ones with this anti-black mindset. Never hated Mexicans. I would be a hypocrite to hate Mexicans. So because some of my closest friends growing up was Mexicans. We played football together. We played basketball together. They came to my house. I came to theirs. I've never harmed somebody just because they were Mexican. You got Mexicans talking crazy on the internet. That doesn't make me mad at all Mexican people. Come on, homie. I'm smarter than that. But I will use people like this for content. I see Mexicans every day, and a lot of them agree with me. Some of them disagree, but some of them actually agree with the stuff that I say. The Mexicans who know me know that I don't hate Mexicans. I'm just holding the ones accountable who deserve to be held accountable. That's it. That's all. This doesn't, when I see content like this, it doesn't make me pissed off with Mexicans. No, I'm just holding the ones accountable who need to be held accountable. That's it. You give me content, and guess what? I'm a content creator. I'm going to use you for content if you say something foolish. So that's exactly what I do. Anyway, make sure that you hit the like button and support the show. Let's get back to the content, though. Sonny didn't have too many drinks, man. Too many cervezos, Holmes. Come on, vato, chale, Sonny. Come on, Holmes. Get it together, essay. You're speaking like a drunk vato.
King Supreme is jealous of our complexion.
He said King Supreme is jealous of Mexicans and their skin complexion. So I'm jealous of Mexican skin complexion. I'm infatuated with Mexican culture. Guess what, Sonny? I do like Mexican women, and I like Mexican food. And I got a couple of vatos that I grew up with that I'm cool with still to this day. But infatuation with the culture, no, I love my own culture, foundational Black American culture. But shout out to the Mexicans that rock with me. And if they rock with me, I rock with them. This is no hatred towards Mexicans. I'm just calling out the people like you who are old school, foolish, stuck in their ways. You're known for calling Black people mayates. The Cali legend said mayate. Sonny said the raza needs to march and stop Black people from getting reparations. Tell them no. The raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests against Black reparations, Holmes. Words of Sonny. I'm not putting words in his mouth. That's exactly what he said.
Is about raza. He's got to try to find a way to make our culture look like we're not nothing special, but in fact, it must be because he's constantly talking about it. Everything he talks about is about raza. He's jealous on our complexion. King Supreme is jealous of our complexion. King Supreme is jealous of our hair. King Supreme is jealous of our women and our family and our ethics, our family ethics. Well, we know when our father goes out for some milk, he's coming back.
See, he threw a shot at the Black community right there. Let me show you how Sonny threw a shot at the Black community. Make sure that y'all bless the like button. It ain't nothing. He just took a shot at the Black community. He said, at least, Holmes, when our father goes out for milk, at least we know that he's coming back. You Blacks don't take care of your children. You abandon your families, let's say. At least when my father goes out for milk, we know that he's coming back home. You Black men are known to abandon your families, let's say. So that was him taking a shot at the Black community. I'm gonna let you hear that again. Mexican fathers come back home after they get milk and say, you Blacks, you go out for milk and you leave the families and you never come back homes.
Our ethics, our family, jealous of our complexion. Our complexion. King Supreme is jealous of our complexion. King Supreme is jealous of our hair. King Supreme is jealous of our women and our family and our ethics, our family ethics. Well, we know when our father goes out for some milk, he's coming back. Because my gente, Mexicanos, believe in family values. And Red Supreme or King Supreme or whatever his name is so jealous of that. That he's talking about us all the time. See, he calls himself FBA, Foundational Black America, right?
Keep in mind, my attraction is always to black women, FBA women in particular, but black women in general. But I know some beautiful, sexy hyenas that are Latino, but my first pick is always going to be FBA black sisters. Don't ever get that twisted. You know, there's no other race of women that's more attractive to me that I'm attracted to more than FBA women. Shout out to the beautiful melanated sisters in the FBA community. You guys come in all shapes and sizes, and you're beautiful. I love you guys. And a lot of my FBA women support me financially. They support what I do, and much love to them. But I've always been attracted to FBA women, first things first. But I grew up in LA, and a lot of Mexican women hit me up today like, King Supreme, you're a handsome man. I know you're not a racist. I would love to have a black man like you in my life. Tons of hyenas from the Mexican Latino community have hit me up telling me how they adore me, how they love my content. You know, how, you know, they feel that I'm handsome and they would love to be with a black man like me. So the Mexican women show me a lot of love. But I'm always going to put my FBA sisters first. First things first, I'm going to put my FBA sisters first because that's my first love. That's who I'm, you know, attracted to the most is FBA women. So shout out to the beautiful melanated FBA sisters. Yeah. Sonny said he's jealous of the Mexican people. He's infatuated with Mexicano culture. King Supreme is jealous. Jealous of what, Sonny? King Supreme is jealous of what, Sonny?
And Red Supreme or King Supreme or whatever his name is so jealous of that. That he's talking about us all the time. See, he calls himself FBA, Foundational Black America, right? But all his videos is about raza, Mexicans. All his videos. There's no videos out there that he doesn't talk about Mexicans. Trying to say that we hate on them, that we're worried about them, and like I said, he's jealous of us. He's envious of us. He wants to be Mexican. That's the only thing that would explain why he talks about Mexicans so much.
We got 1,000 people in the chat, so we got 1,000 likes. We got 1,000 live viewers. I appreciate you guys. I've been going hard over here, and I barely started this channel, and we got over 1,000 people watching. Let's get 1,000 likes. Let's get some supporters. Let's get us some supporters to the channel. Shout out to the super chats and bless that Cash App. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. King Supreme is gonna give you the hard hitting facts. Realer than rap, no cat. Let's get back to business, baby. Salute, peace to you all.
To be Mexican. That's the only thing that would explain why he talks about Mexicans so much. He's jealous.
Jealous of what?
He even gives us credit for things that we didn't even do.
Jealous of what, Sonny? There's nothing to be jealous of, bro. Have you seen the Mexicans in your culture, how they mimic and swagger jack us? If you listen to young Mexican rappers, right, they copy our rap style, they copy everything we do. They're mimicking our culture. You guys have no, there's nothing to be jealous about, Sonny, and there's no disrespect. I'm just being honest. The Pachucos, where do you think the Pachucos came from? That was Mexicans imitating Dane Calloway and the Harlem Renaissance brothers, the jazz musicians. The jazz musicians in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, they would perform on Central Avenue in Los Angeles. Blacks been in Los Angeles since the 1700s, even before that. Well, we've been in California, the place that we call California. We've been occupied these areas. Some of the founding fathers of Los Angeles are black people, Sonny. Do you know that black people been in Mexico since the 13 and 1400s? And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna give you the receipts. Black people been in Mexico for centuries, going all the way back to the 1400s, maybe even the 1300s. Blacks been in America. We are indigenous to this land. The black man is the first man on the planet. The black man and the black woman, we are the original race of people. We're everywhere. Let's set the record straight. I'm about to put some food on your dinner plate. Too many cervezos, homes. You're getting too drunk, Sonny. You're getting too drunk, bato. Come on, that's it, chale. Too many cervezos, homes. You don't know what you're talking about, Sonny. You sound foolish. Sonny is old enough to be my grandfather. So I'm not mad at Sonny. This is just content, but I will set the record straight with hard-hitting facts.
He wants to be Mexican. That's the only thing that would explain.
We got 1,200 people in the building. 1,200 people in the building. We're going to continue to mash. We're going to continue to smash and get up and deliver straight lace game with King Supreme. Hey, let's get it.
Why he talks about Mexicans so much? He's jealous.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
He even gives us credit for things that we didn't even do. The no jumper incident. I wasn't 50 Mexicans. The I Caramba. That wasn't 50 That wasn't Mexicans.
There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s, and blacks were on this continent in America. We were here in the Americas in the 14 and 1300s. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. A lot of you people don't know that. Let me say that again for you people who are too slow. We got 1,400. Let me see. I think we got 1,400 people watching, right? 1,400 people watching. Let's get us 1,000. Let's get over 1,000 likes. Share the content. Support the content because I'm giving you the hard-hitting facts. 1,400 people in the building. We're going to continue to smash. We're going to continue to drop this content. Giving your daily dose of medicine, your daily dose of game from King Supreme. We in the building, man. It is what it is. Realer than rap, no cap, delivering the hardcore hitting facts. The irrefutable facts. Yeah. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. I'm going to give you, listen, I'm going to drop some science. I'm going to drop some history on how blacks been on this continent forever. Way before Mexicans existed, you had blacks that was already here. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s, Sonny. And when you want to talk about native indigenous people, it is scientifically proven that you had black natives on this land. If you go to Africa right now, you got different Africans, different phenotypes, different languages, different cultures. It was the same thing with the natives here in the Americas. Some of them were melanated, some of them were lighter. But we already know that the black natives were here before the red ones came. And you think about the Asians who came down from the Bering Straits. They came later and they set up shop here in the Americas. But don't get it twisted for 1 second, Sonny. There's tons of black indigenous tribes here. Black aboriginals, we've been here for centuries. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s, but you had black aboriginals that existed on this continent way before Mexicans were even thought of. Because I believe Mexicans came to existence in like 1521. I know it was somewhere in the 1500s. Do you know that a black man abolished slavery in Mexico? Vincent Guerrero, the second president of Mexico, Vincent Guerrero, nicknamed El Negro. Gaspar Yanga was in southern Mexico fighting against the Spanish. The Black Seminoles came from Florida, and that was a black indigenous tribe in Florida. Look up the Black Seminoles. These were black melanated people. They went to Mexico to help Mexico in their fight against Spain, because guess what? The Black Seminoles was already putting belt to ass, and they were already putting belt to ass against the Spanish in Florida, because Florida was once a Spanish territory. So the blacks that was in Mexico, blacks in Mexico played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. They played a major role. Gaspar Yanga and his army defeated the Spanish in several battles down in southern Mexico. Sonny, black history runs deep in Mexico. You'll never admit that because you don't know nothing about history, and you're old enough to be my grandpa.
There's something that why he talks about Mexicans so much. He's jealous.
The red natives are settlers. It's scientifically proven that you had black aboriginals here prior to any red natives or any red Indians showing up. It is scientifically proven, and I'm going to do a whole live stream about that. Us black people, blacks are the original people of planet Earth. Blacks existed on every continent on planet Earth. We are the original people. That is a fact. It is scientifically proven. I am giving you the irrefutable facts. Now make sure that you hit that like button, and how do you love that?
He even gives us credit for things that we didn't even do. The no jumper incident. I wasn't 50 Mexicans. The I caramba. That wasn't 50 That wasn't Mexicans. That is something that shows you what Red Supreme or King Supreme is constantly thinking about, dreaming about. He's dreaming about us. We didn't talk about race. Supposedly, he's supposed to be talking about racism that's kept the black man down. Foundational black man, right? That's what he's supposed to be, his whole shebang. Was talking to you guys about what's kept the black man down. Okay, well, all he talks about raza, so apparently he thinks it's raza that's kept them down. Which couldn't be further from the truth, but...
I never said that the raza is keeping black people down. The raza don't have enough power to keep black people down. Black people don't have enough power to keep the raza down. The government created policies to keep black folks down in this country. That was the American government. Shout out to everybody. Listen, man, we got 1,600 people in the building. 1,600 people in the building, and guess what? This is a brand new channel. I got 5,000 subscribers. We got 1,600 people in the building. You got guys with channels. You got guys who got channels with 100,000 subscribers, and they can't even get 400 live viewers when they go live. You know how many people support me financially? Do you know that Red Supreme TV1 was shadow banned? That channel was demonetized. And I didn't care because I was doing content for my people. I was doing content on a shadow ban demonetized channel. This is a brand new channel, and we get 700, 800, 900,000, 1,600 live viewers. You got cats on the internet with 100,000 subscribers, and they can't even get 300 live viewers on a good day. I get 300 live viewers on a bad day. So what does that tell you? People love my content. The things that I say resonates with the people. I got Mexicanos and Chicanos who hit me up that agree with my content. Hyenas hit me up. Beautiful Mexican women say, damn, King Supreme, I love your content. I love how you rhyme when you talk. You got so much swagger. I just love it. You make me wet. You dig what I'm saying? My beautiful foundational Black American women, they say the same thing. We love you, King Supreme. Keep spitting that FBA heat. I'm gonna continue to give you that FBA heat, baby. Don't worry. Game delivered by King Supreme in a major way, baby. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's that the Minuteman's racist. That's what he is pushing. That negativity towards the class of Mexicans, where he talks about us in every story that we did everything wrong. He's blaming Mexicans for the problems in Chicago. He's blaming the Mexicans for the problems in New York, the financial problems.
Mexicans are 20-something% of Chicago. There's a lot of Mexicans in Chicago, Sonny. See, this proves how ignorant you actually are. Chicago has a big Mexican population. It's like 20-something%. It'd be one thing if there were little to no Mexicans in Chicago, but that's not the case, Sonny. Mexicans represent over 20-something% of the city of Chicago, Sonny. And when I spoke on California, I said California has spent billions of dollars on illegal immigrants in 1 year. The majority of illegal immigrants are Mexicans. Why? Because we share a border with Mexico. So the overwhelming majority of illegal immigrants in California are Mexicans, and California has spent billions of dollars on illegal immigrants, Mexicans. Illegal immigrants in general, but the overwhelming majority of illegals in Cali are Mexicans. Sonny said that if America gave Black people reparations, he would have to pay for it with his taxes. Guess what, Sonny? We are paying for illegal Mexicans to cross the border. It's coming out of our taxes. But Sonny don't have a problem with us spending billions on illegal immigrant Mexicans. Why? Because those are his people. That's his people. So he don't care that we're spending billions of dollars on illegals that's coming from Mexico. That's his people. He don't care about that. So it proves what I'm saying. Sonny don't care about spending Sonny don't care about his taxes going to other groups of people as long as it's illegal immigrant Mexicans. But Sonny said if we gave Black Americans reparations, that'll crumble the economy. California has spent over $9 billion in 1 year on illegal immigrants. Billions of dollars on illegal border hoppers. And border hopper is not a racial slur. That is an action. If you cross the border illegally, by definition, you are a border hopper. You are a border crosser. That is not a racial slur. That is an action.
The Mexican, New York and Chicago. Yeah, he is really blaming us for that.
The overwhelming majority of illegal immigrants in America are Mexicans. Why? Because we share a border with Mexico. That is common sense, Sonny. But Sonny's not too intelligent, and he's old enough to be my grandfather.
Mexicans, where he talks about us in every story that we did everything wrong. He's blaming Mexicans for the problems in Chicago. He's blaming the Mexicans for the problems in New York, the financial problems of the Mexican, New York and Chicago. Yeah, he is really blaming us for that because for whatever reason, he feels Mexicans were the main perpetrators over there. But again, Mexicans are in the Southwest United States. We're not in Chicago and New York in the masses like they are over here in LA.
You are in Chicago in large numbers. Mexicans represent over 20-something% of the population in Chicago. Of course, you got Puerto Ricans and other Latino groups in Chicago, but the biggest Latino group in Chicago is Mexicans. Let me educate you, Sonny, because I know you're not too educated. The biggest Latino group in Chicago is Mexicans. Mexicans are the biggest group of Latinos in Chicago. Maybe not New York, but in Chicago, yes.
But don't tell that to Red Supreme or King Supreme or whatever his name is. He will argue and call somebody ignorant and dumb and uneducated. And the only one that seems to be uneducated about anything is King Supreme. Red Supreme, whatever his name is. Just something I thought I'd share with you guys. show you the ignorance of that man, that racist.
I'm racist, but he the one that said he's gonna march against our reparations. Now, Cali Hood Legends called us, the Mayatas, right? So Sonny said he's gonna march against black people getting reparations, but he don't consider himself to be a racist, but he wants the raza to march against our reparations. Cali Hood Legends, another grandpa that's over 60, he called us Mayatas and he got the nerve to call somebody racist. The hypocrisy is real. I'm using you guys for content. That's exactly what I'm doing. As long as you continue to talk ignorant, I will use you for content 100%.
And how much he hates our gente. He calls us border hoppers, and he's always talking about things that we did that we didn't do, but he's going to blame us for it anyway.
There are border hoppers, bro. You know how many Mexicans come to America illegally yearly? By definition, they are border hoppers. If you cross the border illegally, by definition, you are a border hopper. See, the problem with people like this, they don't like to hear the truth. Then he wants to spin the narrative and say that I ain't racist when he the one that said that raza needs to march against our reparations. Same thing with Cali Hood Legend. And guess what, Sonny? I'm doing you a favor by making this video about you. Nobody watches your content. If Sonny did a live stream right now, it'd be 5 people or 10 people in there. I'm doing you a favor by talking about you. Same thing with Cali Hood Legends. I'm doing you a favor by talking about you. This is my new channel. This is a brand new channel. I barely started creating content over here. And I get way more viewers and way more support than people with 100,000 subscribers. You got guys right now that got 100,000 subscribers. If they fired up a live stream, it'd be like 100 people in there. So what does that tell you?
When they took his chon-chon, it was a Mexican that did it. Sorry, it wasn't us. Nobody wants your chon-chon. But have a blessed one, you guys. Bye-bye.
I'm doing Sonny a favor by even talking about him, bro. But this is not going to make, because he's born. He's an ignorant old man. But I'm still doing him a favor. Now let's go to Cali Hood Legends. Because we should appreciate the fact that he took it down. No, the way that he said Mayata, it shows you that that's a part of his language. That's how Mexicans talk. That's part of their vernacular. That's a part of their swagger. That's a part of their daily vernacular. That's how a lot of OG Mexican Serreños truly feel about black people.
Hello and welcome to Cali Legends Media. I'd like to thank all the subscribers, all of you who support the channels. Really appreciate it very, very much. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard all the rhetoric that's going on YouTube and stuff, mostly but from the black community. And that's probably where I would expect it to come from. But then you got like side busters like Dubs, that's going to put his 2 cents in. It's a chance to take another shot back at me. It's all good,
We got over 1,000 people watching. Let's get 15% of the watchers to become supporters. Let's get some more supporters for the content, because I value the work that I do, and hopefully you guys value the work that I do. So let's get some more people to bless that Cash App, $Red1803. Let's get some more people to value the super chat, because I get on camera and talk the talk and walk the walk. I don't hide behind fake profiles. I deliver this message on a daily basis. So put some love and drop some love and support for the content, because I do this on a daily basis. I don't sugarcoat nothing. So if you appreciate my work, slide on through with the support, and I'm gonna continue to drop this content, giving you guys the facts about what's really going on. Not that watered down BS from Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. You're gonna get the facts when the Red Supreme delivers the game, when King Supreme delivers the game.
Just glad I don't got his troubles and his problems. Before I begin, I want to thank everybody who has kept Levi in prayer. And just a really, really quick update. Just touching on the surface. He's doing really, really bad now. Um, it's very, very grim, the prognosis. And so I asked if you could continue to pray for him. I'd really, really appreciate it very much. That being said, okay, now there's a lot of complaining and stuff about something that I said in my home, not on social media. I said it in my home while dealing with somebody else. It wasn't said in a disrespectful manner. And what I mean by that is, when people are responding to it, they're saying stuff like yeah, these damn Mexicans and this and that Mexicans. Yeah, that's
How somebody that called us Mayata gonna complain about somebody talking about Mexicans when we have the right to respond to videos? You have the right to respond to videos, but guess what? When you say racist things, I will use you for content. I'm a content creator.
that's a racial slur. Okay, I didn't say pinche mayates or I didn't say pinche mayates or anything like that. All I said is when I talk to the mayates, because of what you said, blah blah blah. Yeah,
So now he's making an excuse for using the word Mayata. Now he's making an excuse for it. Come on, Cali Hood legends. Come on, Lucky Chucky. Come on, Vato. Where's your cojones, Vato? Listen, and Cali Hood Legends is old enough to be my grandfather. I don't want no smoke. I don't want to do any harm to you. This is content. I'm just putting my people up on game. I'm not emotional to the point to where I want to harm somebody over something they said on the internet. It don't bother me like that in my personal life, but I will use you for content when you say racist things about my people. As far as doing harm to somebody over something they said on YouTube, come on, that's for emotional, mentally challenged people. It don't bother me like that, but I will address what you said and I will use you for content. I'm just being honest.
it just came out. Okay, I'm 60 years old and I've been.
He said he called blacks a mayata. It just came out. The reason why it just came out because you talk like this on a regular basis. You talk like this on a daily basis. So that's why the word mayatas rolled off of your tongue so easy because this is common language for you and your people, Southsiders and Sereños.
Anything like that. All I said is when I talk to the mayates, because of what you said, blah blah blah. Yeah, it just came out.
Very.
Okay, I'm 60 years old and I've been listening to this rhetoric for a very long time here in East LA, and on top of that,
My neighborhood has already went to war with Mexicans, so don't come with that. We've already been there and done that. Up in the West Adams Mid City District, if you know, you know. We went to war with two, matter of fact, three different Mexican barrios, right? The 18th Streets, the Mid City Stoners, and a few others. So my neighborhood is no stranger to warfare with Mexicanos and Chicanos. But this ain't about that. I'm not talking about harming nobody. I'm just creating content. We've been there and done that. Right? Seriously. I was cool with Mexicans, but at the same time, we had a warfare with some of them too. And I'm an 80s baby. I'm an 80s baby, and I grew up in the 90s. The 90s in Los Angeles was there was rough times in the 90s. There was a lot of warfare in the 90s. Los Angeles today is pretty damn safe compared to Los Angeles in the 90s. There was warfare with Bloods and Crips. There was warfare with blacks versus Mexicans. I experienced all of that. Getting locked up, dealing with it on the street. So I understand firsthand because I've experienced what I'm talking about. I'm not just a content creator just talking. I've been through this. I've experienced this. Huh?
At being upset, highly upset with the black community and all the shenanigans that they've been pulling, and it's like everything that the Mexicans do offend you guys. Okay. Oh, my grandson. That's what I was talking about. Since I mentioned him, and since he's part of the subject that I wanted to talk about, I didn't hear no apology or anybody step up and speak for. I think it was Charleston White when he was going on his rant talking.
Charleston White don't represent the black community. Charleston White put on a Confederate flag to disrespect black people, his own people. Charleston White is a Charleston disrespects his own people. He's disrespected Nipsey Hussle. He's disrespected Mexicans. He's disrespected blacks and whites. So Charleston White don't represent black people. Charleston White is a snitch, a troll. So if you're going to say that the Marvelous Inc. don't represent the raza, then surely Charleston White don't represent the black community. You can't have it. You can't have it both ways. SA. You said Marvelous Inc. don't speak for the raza because he's a chomo. Well, Charleston White is a snitch and a troll. He don't speak for the black community, vato. You can't have it both ways, Cali Hood Legends. And I get it. You said that Marvelous can't speak for the raza. I get it. I accepted that. So if I accepted that, now Mexicans have to accept that Charleston don't speak for the black community. You know how many people in the black community want to get their hands on Charleston White? Charleston White put on a Confederate flag and called us N-words and monkeys and all type of stuff. Charleston White is a snitch and a certified troll. Charleston White don't have no allegiance to the black community. Charleston White speaks for himself and himself only. He's trolling for money. He's a snitch. He's a known snitch. So he don't speak for the black community. So if a chomo can't speak for the raza community, then a snitch and a troll like Charleston White clearly can't speak for the black community. Charleston White speaks for himself.
About everything that the Mexicans do offend you guys. Okay. Oh, my grandson. That's what I was talking about. Since I mentioned him, and since he's part of the subject that I wanted to talk about, I didn't hear no apology or anybody step up and speak for. I think it was Charleston White when he was going on his rant talking about. We don't care. I'm just gonna say it. Our babies get sick and die too, and all of that. You know what? Miss me with any kind of bullshit about being butt hurt for something that I said, and still had.
Oh no, we're not butt hurt. I'm just using you for content. You're an old man. You can't get me in my feelings, but I will expose you for your hypocrisy. But I'm not butt hurt at all, Cali Hood Legends. You're old enough to be my grandfather. You know how I look at Cali Hood Legends and Sonny? These are like your drunk grandpas who just discovered social media. So
say it. Our babies get sick and die too, and all of that. You know what? Miss me with any kind of bullshit about being butt hurt for something that I said, and still had.
we're just using you for content, Cali Hood Legends. We're not butt hurt. What you say don't bother me. I expect this from a veterano, a Chicano, a Serrano, a Southsider. I expect this type of verbiage from you and people like you. I'm not surprised that you would say this about us. I'm from LA, homeboy. I grew up around Mexicanos, Chicanos. This is common language for you vatos. Not butthurt about it. I understand it. Don't mean that I respect it, but I understand it. So I'm not surprised that you will use this verbiage against my people. I'm not surprised that you will use this verbiage when you refer to my people. I'm not surprised at all, homeboy.
the respect and the decency to edit my video as to not the part of the subject that I wanted to talk about. I didn't hear no apology or anybody step up and speak for, I think it was Charleston White, when he was going on his rant talking about, we don't care. I'm just going to say it. Our babies get sick and die too and all of that. You know what? Miss me with any kind of bullshit about being butt hurt for something that I said, and still had the respect and the decency to edit my video as to not step on any toes. But it didn't help any. Some babosos, some paisa pulled it up and ran with it anyways, And I know he gets buttered for me calling him a paisa, but he's a paisita. He's a paisa. There's nothing wrong with being a paisa. He's ashamed of it, but he's the only one that I've ever seen take umbrage to the term paisa. Okay, but back to the subject at hand. Okay. Besides that, pissing me off very much, I still went ahead and made my videos and tried to contribute the most I could to try to calm things down and make things better. And that's been my track record since I started on YouTube. Just like one of the things is that N-word, Now that I mention it, Bobby Yaya was jumping on 16 to Life's butt behind him not acting all crazy like Viral Way and Bobby Yaya and Bam Bam, who are all very, very much racist when it comes down to it. Okay? And I think he called him a nigger 3 times. 3 times. Then he called him a coon. Then he called him a Sambo. All racist and derogatory terms. Oh, my bad. It's okay to call your own people that, but if somebody else does, it's on and cracking. Nah, man, that's racist. You're being racial towards your own people, man. For acting like a grown-ass man. But hey, Bobby Yaya, do your thing. Another thing, man, you came out with some bullshit talking about I was having extramarital relations with some transvestite or some shit. And in the same sentence, you said,
I don't know nothing about that, man. Listen, I'm not going to talk about your family, your children, your wife. That's irrelevant. I deal with your talking points. Your personal life and what's going on with your family. Respect to your family. I'm not going to get into all of that. Shout out to my homeboy Bobby Yeye, Imperial Vision. Shout out to my dog. But I'm not going to get involved in people's family matters or any of that. I deal with your talking points, and I use that for content. That's as far as it goes.
My shit don't work. And then you talked about my wife having to go cheat on me because of it. How did my wife get into all of this? Huh? And a transvestite, man, if you knew me like anybody here in the neighborhood knows me, they know I ain't with that shit. And
Shout out to my girl Stephanie for the 20. Shout out to Lions Dollars for the 10. Shout out to Marcus Robinson for the 5. Shout out to Tammy Jackson for the 10. Shout out to the 7030 for the 7. Shout out to Go Gadget for the super chat. Shout out to my girl Evelyn for the 20 on the Cash App. Let's get some more contributors and supporters. Let's get 10 to 15% of the audience to become contributors and supporters for a daily dose of this game delivered by King Supreme in a major way. Let's get it. Support your FBA content creators, because guess what? I speak for you guys. I don't hide behind avatars. It is what it is. I come here, I drop my content, and I set the record straight. I'm giving you the irrefutable facts on a daily basis. Medication for mind elevation. What's the medication? Game. What is game? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Yeah.
I don't really, I don't like it. It's not for me. It's not for my children or my grandchildren. So, for you to come out with a bold-faced lie to try to discredit me, I see you're still butthurt for my last video that I did on you. But hey, it's all good. You could try to do whatever you want with my name. Enough people know me good enough, you know.
County Hood Legends is old enough to be my grandfather, so there's no animosity. I expect this from a veterano, a Chicano, a Sereno, a Southsider. This is usa mayata is a part of their daily verbiage. That's how they talk. I understand that. I'm not gonna lose sleep behind that. I expect this. I expect veteranos, OG Serranos to talk like this. I expect that because I understand their culture growing up in Los Angeles. So it's no surprise to me. Am I mad about it? No, I'm not pissed off about it. I expect this. I'm not upset. No, not at all. If you're surprised that these people talk like this, and maybe you will be upset, but I understand this is what it is. Being upset about it ain't gonna change nothing, but I will hold you accountable and address this in my videos. I will use you for content.
Let's talk a little bit about Dean the King. Dean the King. Anyways, this Dean the bitch
I don't even know who Dean is. He's irrelevant. I don't even know who that dude is. That dude was probably just talking for clout.
worked on that boy, for disrespecting his mom that way. But did anybody step up and try to calm the situation or speak up for him or even make an excuse for him, which there was no excuse? Fuck no. You guys just sit back in the cut and just
Mexicans in East LA have firebombed black people apartments just for living there. That is Ku Klux Klan behavior. So why would people step up and speak up for that when none of you Mexican podcasters have said this is racist, this is Ku Klux Klan behavior? You had black civilians living in East LA and Mexicans, racist Mexican gang members firebombed the apartments of black folks for just living in the Ramona Garden housing projects controlled by the Hazard gang in East LA. None of you Mexican podcasters called out the racism coming from your community, coming from your Mexican vatos. So I don't want to hear nothing. That is Ku Klux Klan behavior coming from Southsiders, Serenos, Mexican gangbangers in East Los Angeles, Mexicans in La Puente, East LA, El Monte. Those are some of the most racist Mexicans you can find. And check it out. You don't even have a large black population. There's no large black population. You don't even have a sizable black population that lives in East LA, El Monte, or La Puente. And these are some of the most racist Mexicans you could ever meet. And they don't even live around black people. So what does that tell you? Racism is embedded in their culture. Mexicans in East LA ain't got to deal with black people like that. The same for El Monte, the same for La Puente. Mexicans who don't live around black people are some of the most racist Mexicans you can ever meet. And if you're from Los Angeles or Los Angeles County, you heard about East LA, you heard about El Monte, you heard about La Puente. These are some of the most racist Mexicans in the city, some of the most racist Mexicans in the county, and they don't even live around black people like that. You don't even have black gangs in those areas.
trip on shit like that, you know? Yeah, man, something else. Anyways, I'm not gonna drag this video on, but well, maybe just a little
Support the
bit.
content, man. If you're a foundational black American and you love the fact that I speak for you guys, support the content. Not none of these fake FBA people, these Johnny come latelys who are copying Tyreek Nasheed that want to argue with tethers all day. That is pointless. See, you guys want to argue with Africans because you're not going to go to war with no Africans in the streets. So it's easy for you guys to make content arguing with Africans all day. Africans are harmless. Mexicans, on the other hand, have done things to our people in the streets. Africans have not. Africans might have their feelings towards Black Americans, but it's easy to talk about Africans because there's no consequences for that. I'm talking about Mexicans. There's been warfare and gunplay between the Black and Mexican community. So it takes a lot of cojones and heart to talk about what's going on with that. Copying Tariq Nasheed and arguing with Africans and so-called tethers all day, you guys are just copycats. And shame on the people for not, shame on our people for not having, shame on our people for not having enough common sense to see through these Tariq Nasheed wannabes. You know how many FBA people who get online to argue with tethers all day, copying Tariq Nasheed? There's no repercussions for that. Africans ain't gonna see you in the street. There's no warfare between FBA and Africans in prison. So it's easy to talk bad about Africans all day. That's easy. I don't even waste my time talking about that because Africans are not overpopulating our communities. Latinos are overpopulating our communities. So why would I waste time arguing with African tethers on the internet? That is a waste of time. You're just dividing Black people even more. Yes, we can address the Africans who say negative things about us. I don't have a problem with addressing it. I do, but I'm not going to create content arguing with Africans when they're not dumping Africans in Black communities across the country. They are not. They're dumping Latinos in Black communities and Black and FBA communities across the country. And these Latinos come with an anti-Black mindset. There's warfare between Blacks and Latinos in these city streets. There's warfare between Blacks and Latinos in penitentiaries. There's no warfare between Blacks and Africans. So to create content talking about tethers and Africans, you a Tariq Nasheed wannabe. That is pathetic content. They're not dumping millions of Africans in FBA communities, but they are dumping millions of Latinos in FBA communities across the country. So I think I'll rest my case on that. It's sad that you people, the listeners, the watchers don't know the authentic from the fraudulent. You guys don't know the authentic from the fraudulent, and that is crazy. The hell, I look like arguing with Africans all day, and they're not even dumping Africans in our communities like that.
Longer. Look at that poor dude, man, that got jumped over there in at that homeless encampment.
They don't even let Africans come to America in large numbers like that. African immigrants represent 3% of all immigrants in this country. You know the percentage of Latinos that's dumped in our country, that's dumped in Black communities? Those numbers are crazy. So when I see you cats, you FBA arguing with Africans all day, it's like, come on, bro, you a Tariq Nasheed wannabe. And shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I don't have a problem with Tariq Nasheed is our brother. But me, myself, that's Tariq Nasheed's lane. You got all these copycats who want to create content arguing with tethers all day. And Africans. God, man, come on, man. And then when you look at, listen, anyway, let's continue.
You know, for trying to offer his services. You know, oh yeah, just apologize, man. They had that guy all up and down that parking lot. But you know what? One thing I noticed about that guy, he didn't go nowhere. And as weak as he swung and kicked and did.
Black people never came here illegally. That's the difference. We didn't cross no borders. We didn't come over here illegally. When Blacks were in California, you already had Blacks in California in the 1800s, and I'm going to give you the proof. Black people lived in their own communities. They didn't dump Black people in Mexican communities. The early days of South Central didn't have Mexicans. Mexicans were in East LA and Boyle Heights. The difference is they dumped millions of illegal immigrants, border hoppers in Black communities. That's the difference. Black people didn't move to Mexican communities. We had our own communities. But of course, you don't understand history. You're just talking nonsense. I'm not even going to say your name. I see you in the comments, though.
It is the best he could. You know, yeah, he didn't bust a grape, but a lot of the brothers there didn't bust a grape either. But, you know, why would 10 people jump on this one man? Huh? Just barely after all these videos being made about it, did Roughneck come out and apologize. You know? I don't know, man. I don't get the way the brothers think, man. let's go real quick on Spotty Face. Okay. Now I mentioned two situations. One where this kid made a video talking about he was gonna he felt like socking Lucky from Hoodstuck on the face, and like I said, why didn't he show up and take that energy down in front of Lucky? Why is he gonna make a video a channel to put that out on social media? That was the 97 subscribers I was talking about, Spotty Face.
Something goofy going on. Why would somebody pull up to Lucky's event? See, this is how you know this old grandpa, he's ignorant. If you pull up to Lucky's event, right, and something happened to somebody, you're going to be the perpetrator. You're going to go to prison because you pulled up to somebody's event looking for trouble, right? If I pull up to your event, you had the advantage because you already got your people there. You're going to have people there who are strapped, all that. So why would I pull up to your event looking for trouble? That makes no sense. But of course, this old man doesn't have common sense. So he's supposed to pull up to somebody's event looking for problems instead of saying, let's agree to meet up on neutral grounds and catch a fade, and we can do it legal in the ring, and nobody got to get hurt. Nobody got to go to prison. That is how you man up. Pulling up to somebody's event looking for problems. Let's say somebody gets hurt and the feds are watching social media. We already know the feds are watching social media. Sporty Face is going back to prison because the first thing they're going to say is, well, you pulled up to that man's event looking for problems, and all they did was defend himself. Why would Sporty Face put himself in a trick bag by showing up to Whittier? For one, there's no blacks in Whittier. For two, that was Lucky from Hoodstock's event, which means he had all his vatos and homies with him. And why? Of course, that's his event. So he's gonna have his people up there. And if somebody got hurt, somebody got unalive, Sporty Face will catch the heat. Why? Because you pulled up to that man's event. That would be stupid on Sporty Face's behalf to pull up to somebody's event looking for problems. But
Just gets any information and just runs with it, you know? Don't know what the hell he's talking about, but runs up there. He didn't even watch the video. Like he said, he was listening to it while he was doing other things, you know? But yet he wants to speak on it. But aside from that, I address Sporty Face because he had called.
shout out to the OG Bam, man. Salute to the OG Bam for standing up for our people. You got to put some more love and respect on the OG Bam's name for standing up for our people. He don't come on the internet talking ignorance. He stand up for our people. So we got to give a lot of love and respect to the OG Bam, Front Hood Compton. You know, that's our people. So we got to support him 100%. You know, shout out to the OG Bam. Shout out to Damian Porter. You know, shout out to Bobby Yeye. You know, and the people who stand on business when it comes to speaking up for our people, salute to them. And if I left you out, I don't mean to leave you out. I appreciate you all. But shout out to the OG Bam.
He called ducking a fade and was like speaking to his homie saying, yeah, how can nowadays can a dude duck a fade and still be welcome in his neighborhood, still belong to the neighborhood? You know, you guys should you know, at least DP him. Like, really? That's what that whole section was about. Separate from that dude that made his channel that only had a few subscribers and was using his channel just to talk smack and to raise more issues, you know? Since I've been on YouTube, I've done nothing but try to contribute to peace between the brothers and the Mexicans, even here in my neighborhood, man. I took flack for 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 helping them settle down and settled in. You know, there's only a few of them here. You
Okay,
know,
and if it's only a few black people that live in East LA, your people firebombed the apartments of black people just for living there. That's some Ku Klux Klan behavior. You can't show me one community where a Mexican house got firebombed in a predominant black community just because they were Mexican and living there. You can't show that because we don't do that. Your people were trained to be racist towards blacks. Black people been too busy fighting white supremacists throughout history. We wasn't even worried about Mexicans. We never even perceived Mexicans to be a threat until they overpopulated our communities, and we seen that they had the same hatred towards us like white people do. Your people in Mexico, there was a caste system in Mexico where the Spanish conquistadors trained you guys to be anti-black as a part of your culture. You got Mexican podcasters and YouTubers and content creators who are honest about the anti-blackness that comes from Mexico and Latin American countries in general. Why do you think the word mayata rolls off of his tongue so easy? He didn't even realize that he called us a racial slur because he talks like that all the time. He talks like now he's trying to sugarcoat it and make excuses. Well, I took it down. No, the fact that it rolled off of your tongue so easy proves everything that I said because that's a part of your language. You didn't even realize that you called us a racial slur because that's how you talk. That language is normal for you and your people, especially in East LA, El Monte, La Puente. These people write NK on the walls. That stands, NK stands for N-word unaliver. That language is common in their community. That language is common in their culture. If you listen, homie, if you from LA, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
you guys are like, oh, we're all over the world. Yeah, but you ain't here in East LA. You leave all these brothers out here hanging. You know. I even got a call from one of the ones that I dealt with, and he even asked me, "Hey, homie, we good, right? None of that shit that's going on social media has anything to do with us, you know. So, everything feed, man. You know, can you imagine that? But there's a certain number of yous that are determined to steer shit up and make a big deal out of nothing.
Your people are the ones who pull up to No Jumper over a rap video. Ay caramba. They did a Mexicano Chicano Million Man March over Tiger's Ay caramba video. Stop it. They did a Latino Mexicano Million Man March up to No Jumper over Ay caramba video. And you got the nerve to talk about being in your feelings, being in your emotions. Come on, Vato. Make it make sense. Nobody's more butthurt than you guys. You pulled up to Adam No Jumper 22, 50 to 100 deep over Tiger's Ay Caramba video because your people were butthurt about a rap song.
I didn't post anything about black people on my video. I took it out so you will not be offended. I took it out so you wouldn't feel disrespected. I
Yeah, the
took it out.
Blueface. Do you know that the Mexican community was upset about Jenny 6ix9ine, a sexy Latina, a sexy Mexicana woman? She sat on Blueface lap and she twerked, and the Mexican community was up in arms about that. Lucky from Hood Stops, who calls us the guy who called us African booty scratchers, right? The reason that he said that because this whole situation stems from Jenny 6ix9ine twerking on Blueface lap on a live stream, and the Mexican community was up in arms about that. Oh, how could she twerk on this black man? Oh, she's selling out the raza. She need to carry herself better. She's over there twerking on a black man. The Mexican community was up in arms about that Latino twerking on Blueface's lap. That is a known fact. That whole Lucky from Hoodstock situation stems from the Blueface thing. They were jealous. Oh, how can she twerk on a black man? Oh, she portrayed the raza.
out to suffice your people. But some idiot ran with it who does everything he can to make me look bad. Anything. He even makes up lies, things that ain't even true. You know, I went to his comment section and I looked at that video and the comments that his subscribers made. They were all talking shit about him. They could see what he did was wrong. I took it out for a reason. I did not want to put that out on social media. And you know what? The ones that are on that watch my channel and came onto my channel and had a problem with what I said, I apologize to them. Only to them. You know? Why? Because they had come to my channel, watched a video that offended them, so I apologized. But all of you talking all this masa and stuff and making up lies, talking about my grandchild living or dying, you know what? You know, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna be bigger than that. You know, you guys could go ahead and do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not gonna address you. I'm not gonna pay attention to you guys. You don't want me to participate or be involved with trying to bring peace between the black people. I'm not racist. I don't have no hatred towards black people. You think because I use the word mayate that I'm spewing hate and I know what racism is. If I was racist, trust me, you would feel it. You know? I've already explained my situation growing up with blacks, with all of that, you know? But there's certain one of yous that are just so twisted up and so wrapped up on this, I guess from your upbringing or from your past experiences or just teaching that you guys teach each other, you know, because obviously that's what you guys call it. You know, you guys are teaching each other, bringing each other up, you know. Yeah, you guys, no matter what anybody says, you'll find a way to find it offensive or twist it around, or yeah, that belonged to us, or oh, they're trying to be like us, or oh yeah, you know, I hope
Have you seen the young Mexicans? Even people in your generation listen to our oldies. Your people jam to our oldies. And I said it before and I say it again. Music influences culture. Let me say this to you people who are too slow. Music influences culture. Who's always dominated music in America? Foundational Black Americans. Our music influences culture. The Pachucos, the Mexicans who were Zootsuits in the 40s, who did they get their influence from? The black jazz musicians. The black jazz musicians would perform on Central Avenue. Central Avenue was also the headquarters for the Black Panthers back in the 1960s. So the Pachuco culture came from the black people who foundational Black Americans popularized wearing zoot suits. And the Mexican Chicanos created the Pachuco culture out of what they seen us doing. If you look at these young Mexicans today, the Mexican rappers, they rap in the black. Mexican rappers had to switch up their whole style, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they rap, to assimilate to black culture because they want to be a part of hip hop so bad. You could say that, but if you look at this generation of Mexicans, they mimic, and I'm going to be real with you. Mexicans are swagger jacking. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I got to be honest. These Mexicans who want to be rappers, they are swagger jacking black culture 100%. If you look at Mexicans in the 90s and the early 2000s, they're completely different from the Mexicans today. They dress like black people. They talk like black people. They even rap like us. You can't name one rap style that Latinos made popular. The way that they rap, the way that they rhyme, the way that they pronounce their words. They are swagger jacking black culture 100%. This old man don't know what he's talking about.
I don't care about his grandson. He could, and you think that I'm gonna apologize?
Shout out to Go Gadget. Now he's saying why he don't want to. We don't need you to apologize, Lucky. I don't want you to apologize. I want you to stand on business. I could care less about your apology. Your apology means nothing. You said what you meant. You meant what you said. That's how Mexicans talk. That's how Mexicans, Serrenos, and Southsiders talk amongst each other. So I don't want your apology. Apology is not accepted. I don't want your apology. And neither do my people. We don't want your apology, Lucky. It's not genuine. That's how you really feel. It's okay. Just stand on it. Nobody's coming to hurt you. Nobody's coming to harm you. We get it. You're a grandpa. You're old enough to be my grandfather. You're old enough to be my grandpa. I'm not looking for your apology. My people, for the most part, we're not looking for your apology. We understand that. We understand that's how Mexicans, Southsider, Chicanos, and Serrenos talk. That's how you guys talk. And that's okay. We understand that. We accept the reality. We're not butthurt about it. I'm just using you for content to prove a point to my people about the anti-blackness that comes from your culture. That's all I'm doing. I don't want your apology.
Bringing each other with all of that, you know. But there's certain one of yous that are just so twisted up and so wrapped up on this, I guess from your upbringing or from your past experiences or just teaching that you guys teach each other, you know, because obviously that's what you guys call it. You know, you guys are teaching each other, bringing each other up, you know. Yeah, you guys, no matter what anybody says, you'll find a way to find it offensive or twist it around, or yeah, that belonged to us, or oh, they're trying to be like us, or oh yeah, you know, I hope his you know, I don't care about his grandson. He could, and you think that I'm gonna apologize? You have all these people putting out all this negative stuff, and nobody has stepped forward, okay, to say, hey, you know, we apologize for this or that or the other. No, but you guys think you're gonna get an apology from me? Charles, it's not gonna happen. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. You feel froggish, you want to jump when you see me, do it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna keep doing me. And
Lucky, we don't want to harm you, Lucky. You're old enough to be my grandpa. These are just words. I understand that. I would never encourage anybody to harm you. You're old enough to be my grandfather. So I would never, I'm not in my emotions to where I would want to do anything to you. And I tell my people, stand down. We don't want to hurt Lucky. We don't want to do anything to him. He's a grandfather. You know, he's entitled to speak however he wants to talk. He can talk however he wants to talk in his home on his channel. So it's not that serious. We don't want to do anything to you, Lucky. You're old enough to be my grandfather. So it wouldn't be right if somebody tried to harm you. I wouldn't agree with that. Just like I wouldn't agree with anybody harming an elderly black man. I wouldn't agree with anybody trying to harm you. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm just using you for content, putting my people up on game about how Mexicans truly feel about us. But nobody wants to harm you, Lucky. It's not that. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not condoning it, but I am from the street, so I understand how things get when it comes to warfare. But as far as you saying what you're saying on the internet, no, we're not butthurt about it. Matter of fact, we expect people like you to use that type of verbiage. That's expected from you and your people. We get it. We're not surprised. That's all I'm saying, Lucky.
and if anybody on my channel has a problem with it, they could unsubscribe. If you guys don't want to hear what I have to say or don't like the way I say it, don't watch my channel. Just keep on scrolling, kick rocks. You know, I do what I do and I say what I say.
He's not going to disrespect no black person to his face, and I'm pretty sure no black person wants to disrespect him. So let's leave it at that. We're content creators. We're here to feed our family. I'm not encouraging anybody to harm anybody over words over YouTube, but we will hold you accountable for the things you say, and I will put my people up on game about the anti-blackness that comes from your community. That's it. Nobody wants to harm you, Lucky. It is what it is. You can say whatever you want to say on your YouTube channel, just like I could say whatever I want to say on my YouTube channel. As simple as that.
For people that that want to hear what I have to say. Why would you join a channel that you're against? If you don't think that I don't have that's not enough integrity to have to go and clean edit up a video and clean it up as to not make a certain group of people feel disrespected. No, that's not good enough. No, you want more. After all the stuff that you spoke, even on my family, on my wife, on my children, on me, Charles.
Shout out to my girl Sabrina. Sabrina bossed up with a shout out to Sabrina for blessing us with a 50 on the Cash App. She said, FBA, stay strong. I will. And I appreciate you, Sabrina, for that 50. Shout out to the ladies, man. The ladies have came through today heavy. Shout out to my FBA women for showing a lot of love and support on the Cash App. Shout out to everybody who sent the contribution, because these are not donations. These are contributions because you get value from our content. A donation is when you do something and you don't get anything in return. When you support my content, you get value back from it. You get value from it. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So you're gaining something from the content. It's not a donation. People contribute and support, but I don't take donations. I have contributors. There's a big difference. There's a major difference. So shout out to all of my contributors. And I put you guys up on game about what's really going on. I don't sugarcoat things like Fox News. I don't sugarcoat things like MSNBC. I don't sugarcoat things like the ABC News. You're going to get it raw, rough. You're going to get it raw, rough, and rugged, giving game to the public. Game delivered by King Supreme in a major way. The authentic and not the fraudulent. You're going to get the authentic and not the fraudulent when you tap in with King Supreme. So I give value to my supporters. Anyway, you already get the picture. Now let's get back to the content.
Happen. So make all the videos you want, do whatever you want, do a Million Man March. I don't care.
You guys did a Million Man March. You did a Million Man March up to No Jumper over Tiger's Ay Caramba video. That was a Latino, Mexicano Million Man March. Pull up to No Jumper 50 deep over a music video. And you want to talk about somebody being butt hurt? Man, that's crazy.
No, that's not good enough. No, you want more. After all the stuff that you spoke, even on my family, on my wife, on my children, on me, Charles.
Shout out to the OG Bam. Shout out to my brother from Front Hood, Compton. You know what I'm saying? We're not looking for your apology. Apology is not accepted. That's how you really feel. We understand that's how Mexicans, Serreños, and Southsiders talk about black people. We understand that. We're not looking for your apology. Apology is not accepted. That's how you really feel, and that's okay. We accept that. We understand the mindset of Serreños and Southsiders and a lot of Mexican people in general. We get it. We understand it. We don't want your apology. I'm here to speak. I'm coming here to speak for the authentic and not for the fraudulent. King Supreme is authentic and really in it, delivering straight-laced game on a daily basis. Man, it is what it is.
Not going to happen. So make all the videos you want, make a certain group of people feel disrespected. No, that's not good enough. No, you want more. After all the stuff that you spoke, even on my family, on my wife, on my children, on me, Charles. Not going to happen. So make all the videos you want, do whatever you want, do a Million Man March. I don't care. I've had it with you guys, man. I don't need to help you guys. You don't need.
Shout out to Project Leroy, man. He said his apologies aren't worth 2 dead flies. Nobody wants to listen to his sympathy babble when he can put dollars behind his apologies to FBA business. We know what Mexican did to their black president, Vicente Guerrero, the LULAC organization, the LA City Council. Shout out to Project Leroy for bossing up with that $50 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Shout out to all my contributors. Shout out to all of my supporters. We don't want your apology, SA. Chale, vato, we don't need it, Holmes.
Edit up a video and clean it up as to not make a certain group of people feel disrespected? No, that's not good enough. No, you want more. You know, after all the stuff that you spoke, even on my family, on my wife, on my children, on me, childless. Not gonna happen. So make all the videos you want, do whatever you want, do a Million Man March. I don't care. You know, I've had it with you guys, man. You know? I don't need to help you guys. You don't need my help. You know? Damien Porter mentioned, oh yeah, you know, I thought there was another OG that I could work with and we could do the I never offered anything like that. All I offered was my own, what I had to say to my people and to your people, and it could be accepted or neglected. And like it's been said, I put it on my videos before. I don't speak for nobody. I'm speaking for myself, my opinion, my experience. And it is what it is, you know? Spencer. Anyway, this is my video for tonight, people. And for the day. And
and shout out to my elders, man. I'm not here to disrespect my elders, man. You know, I got a lot of respect for our elders, you know, brothers that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. I got a lot of love and respect for them. And I'm going to continue to show them a lot of love and respect. Straight up like that. Shout out to Marcus Robson for blessing us with that Cash App. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I want to show you guys something about the founders of Los Angeles. Make sure that you guys continue to hit that like button. If you haven't blessed the like button, make sure that you bless the like button now. And I much love, appreciation, and I appreciate all the support. I want to show you a black woman who owned a lot of property in Los Angeles. This is Biddy Mason.
August 15th, 1818, in the American South. Before Los Angeles had a skyline, before Spring Street was called the Wall Street of the West, a black woman born enslaved.
We're finna get into some black history. We're going to talk about Afro-Mexicans, and we're going to talk about how blacks played a major role in founding and developing the city of Los Angeles. A lot of Mexicans don't understand history because they've been brainwashed by European Spanish conquistadors. But I'm going to give you the irrefutable facts about how blacks played a major role in founding and building Los Angeles. That is a known fact. Just like blacks in Mexico helped Mexico to liberate themselves from Spain. Blacks in Mexico helped Mexico to gain their independence from Spain. I'm giving you historical facts. I'm not giving you my feelings. I'm not giving you my opinion.
Before Spring Street was called the Wall Street of the West, a black woman born enslaved quietly bought the ground beneath it. Her name was Biddy Mason. She didn't ask for permission. She mastered freedom, money, and land.
Right. The Olmecs and the Aztecs were black people. These were melanated people. The Mexicans that you see today in California look nothing like the Aztecs. The Aztecs were melanated, swarthy people, dark-skinned individuals. Blacks been in Mexico prior to the 1500s. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. And you got a history of the black, you got a long, deep history of blacks being in Mexico and the Americas prior to the 1500s. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. I'm just giving you the reality. There were several indigenous tribes all across the Americas, and some of these were melanated, dark-skinned people. And that's just a reality. I'm giving you the irrefutable facts. This is scientifically proven. And we're going to get into some of that content. Now I'm going to give you guys a black history lesson.
And the ripple of her choices still moves Biddy Mason. She didn't ask for permission. She mastered freedom, money, and land. And the ripple of her choices.
The Mayans and the Aztecs were dark-skinned, melanated people. They look nothing like the Mexicans you see today in California or in the United States. They look nothing like those people. Completely different.
Still moves through this city today. Biddy Mason was born on August 15, 1818, in the American South. Enslaved from birth, she learned midwifery, herbal medicine, and the skills to deliver life under pressure. In the late 1840s, she was forced west, first to Utah, then to San Bernardino, California. California was a free state on paper, but enslavers tried to drag black people back into bondage anyway. In 1856, when her enslaver attempted to move the family to Texas, Biddy stood up. With help from free black Angelenos, especially the Owens family, and allies in the courts, she petitioned for her freedom. Judge Benjamin Hayes granted it. Biddy, her 3 children, and others walked out of court free. But freedom is a start, not a strategy.
Spaniards created modern-day Mexicans. That is a fact. Spaniards created Spaniards created Mexicans. They did. The Olmecs were dark-skinned, melanated people. The Olmecs and the Mayans did not have Spaniard European blood. Let me say this to you people who are too slow. The Spaniard, listen, the Aztecs did not have European blood. The Mayans did not have European blood. The Olmecs did not have European blood. These were dark-skinned, melanated people.
Biddy went to work. She nursed. She midwifed. She became indispensable in a small, growing Los Angeles, often working with local physicians. She saved every dollar. She gave generously to people in need. And she helped birth institutions, co-founding the first African Methodist Episcopal Church of Los Angeles in 1872, the city's first black church. Then came the move that changed her family forever. In 1866, Biddy purchased land on Spring Street for around $250. She didn't flip it for quick cash. She held it. She improved it. She collected rent. As Los Angeles boomed, that modest parcel multiplied in value. Over time, she acquired multiple lots, creating a base of income and dignity for her children and grandchildren. By the time of her passing on January 15, 1891, Biddy Mason had turned skilled labor into real estate, and real estate into community power. Her estate was widely reported to be worth many tens of thousands of dollars, well over $1 million in today's money. But her true legacy was structure, property titled, income diversified, a church anchored, and a family network trained to think in assets. She was known to say, "If you hold your hand closed, nothing good can come in." Biddy gave, but she also held. She understood a timeless lesson. Cash feeds today, land feeds generations. So what happened after she died? The short answer, the land kept moving, and so did Los Angeles. Her holdings passed primarily to her daughters and into the extended Owens family through marriage. In the 1890s and early 1900s, downtown swelled. Spring Street transformed.
We don't need to be Aztecs. What we're saying is there were different black people. Not all black people are the same. You have different tribes of black people. But if you study the history, the Aztecs were dark-skinned, melanated people. They look nothing like the Mexicans today who claim to be Aztecs. The Mexicans today are Spaniard Europeans. The Aztecs did not have Spanish European blood. The Mayans did not have Spanish European blood. The Olmecs did not have Spanish European blood. The Mexicans that you see today are not the Aztecs, are not the Mayans. They are not the Olmecs. The Mayans, the Olmecs, and the Aztecs were dark-skinned, melanated people. They did not have Spanish European blood. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s.
City's financial artery. Parcels.
The Spanish conquistador Mexicans because they had sex with the people and mixed them all up, and they created something called Mexicans. But prior to the Spaniards showing up in Mexico, there was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. The Mexicans you see today in the United States, they have more European blood. They have native blood, but mostly European blood, because the Spanish dominated, conquered, colonized Mexico. And black people in Mexico played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. But right now we're talking about Biddy Mason and the history of Los Angeles. Black people been in California for centuries. I understand the history.
Well over $1 million in today's money. But her true legacy was structure, property titled, income diversified, a church anchored, and a family network trained to think in assets. She was known to say, if you hold your hand closed, nothing good can come in. Biddy gave, but she also held. She understood a timeless lesson. Cash feeds today, land feeds generations. So what happened after she died? The short answer, the land kept moving, and so did Los Angeles. Her holdings passed primarily to her daughters and into the extended Owens family through marriage. In the 1890s and early 1900s, downtown swelled. Spring Street transformed into the city's financial artery. Parcels were improved, consolidated, sold, or redeveloped, sometimes by the family, sometimes by new investors as values skyrocketed. This is the pattern across American cities. When an early parcel sits where finance and speculation later collide, pressure mounts. Family members age, taxes rise, developers knock. Sometimes there are partition actions or probate complications. Sometimes the family cashes out by choice. Over decades, portions of Biddy's properties left the family's hands as downtown densified. Buildings went up, buildings got remodeled. Eventually, many were demolished. By the late 20th century, her original homestead site was no longer a home at all, but the city remembered. In the early 1990s, artists and civic leaders dedicated Biddy Mason Park along Spring Street.
So this is the history of Biddy Mason. You know, we've been in the Americas, California, for centuries. We didn't show up. Black people showed up in larger numbers in the 50s and 60s from the Great Migration from the South, but don't get it twisted. Blacks were already in the Americas and in California for centuries. But you can't expect for a Spanish conquistador to be honest about history. Can't expect them to be honest about history. They were fed lies. They push false narratives because they promote systematic and systemic white supremacy. They got that mindset from their oppressors. And who are their oppressors? The Spanish conquistadors.
An outdoor timeline engraved with her life and the very ground she once secured. The land changed owners. The story remained. And what does that story teach us? Biddy,
listen, your podcast, all they talk about, and listen, I know some of them, so I'm not going to say all of them, but the majority of your famous Mexican, Chicano podcasters, YouTubers, all they talk about is gang and prison. These people know nothing about the history of California. They know nothing about the history of the Americas. They talk about prison and gang banging BS all day. Southsider and Serrano culture, prison and gang culture. For the most part, that's all they talk about, which is complete nonsense. I called out my black people for talking about gang banging, blood and cripping, and putting gang banging ahead of their blackness. I called my own people out for that nonsense. But the Mexicano, Chicano, Southsider, Serrano community, all they talk about is prison culture and gang banging culture for the most part.
Mason's genius was not an accident. It was a framework. 1. Build skills the market needs. 2. Convert earned income into appreciating assets. 3. Title property cleanly and plan for heirs. 4. Anchor community institutions that outlast you. And 5. Remember this: generosity and discipline can live in the same house. Her parcels moved, her city transformed, but her blueprint still stands.
Shout out to my man Jesse. Shout out to Jesse for giving us a 20 on the Cash App. I appreciate you, Jesse. Danny Valencia gave us a 5 on the Cash App. Danny Valencia said he was timed out for getting on these mestizos' neck. So I don't know why Danny Valencia got timed out, but I appreciate you, Danny Valencia, for your contribution, for your support to the channel. I appreciate you.
If Biddy Mason could buy Spring Street with $250 in vision, what can we do together if we treat our paychecks like seed and our neighborhoods
All right, let's
like
go to the next clip. We're going to show you how blacks occupied Mexico. There was a lot of blacks in Mexico. I got a few clips I'm going to show you. Oh, check this out. And
this claim might sound surprising.
Now, what they're going to say, oh, this is not true. This is just a YouTube video. No, this was documented by scholars. This is scientifically proven. I'm going to show you how some of the first people who occupied the place that's known as Mexico, some of these were black melanated people. And we're going to give you the facts that the irrefutable facts. This is scientifically proven. Let's get into it. Make sure that you press the like button. This is fair use. This premier scholar proves that there were blacks in Mexico prior to the 1500s. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s, but black folks was already there. Black people, we are the original people of planet Earth.
And perhaps even challenge our understanding of Mexican history, but it comes from a credible source. Let's introduce Vicente Riva Palacio, a man of great intellectual prowess and political significance. Perhaps even challenge our understanding of Mexican history, but it comes from a credible source. Let's introduce Vicente Riva Palacio, a man of great intellectual prowess and political significance in Mexico. He was not just a politician,
I
but
understand
also
slavery in Mexico. You can't put me up on game about nothing. On well studied, on well read. I get it. This is not one of your Mexicano, Chicano podcasters who talk about prison and gangbang culture all day. I understand the history of the Americas. I understand that the black man and the black woman, we are the original people on planet Earth. That is a fact. Blacks been in the Americas prior to any European content, prior to any slave ship touching down on American soil. And it wasn't even called the United States prior to the transatlantic slave trade, prior to chattel slavery. It wasn't even called the United States. But anyway, we'll get into that later. I'm going to give you some deep-rooted history. We're going to give you the irrefutable facts. This is scientifically proven. To all you vatos who want to talk about gang banging and prison culture, you guys are not too intelligent. You're promoting gang culture and prison culture to your people, and that's keeping them ignorant. Same way that I talk about people in my community that talk about blood and cripping and phase and goofy gangbang stuff all day, they are keeping our people ignorant as well. Let's get into this content, though, about how blacks were already in Mexico and the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade.
Respected intellectual who made substantial contributions to Mexico's intellectual heritage. Palacio, the grandson of the great Mexican revolutionary and President Vicente Guerrero, played a pivotal role in fighting off the French intervention of Mexico in the mid-1860s. Following his tenure on the Supreme Court of Justice from 1868 to 1870, Palacio dedicated himself to writing. One of his most significant works acknowledges the black indigenous presence in the Americas. Intrigued? One of his most significant works acknowledges the black indigenous presence in the Americas. Intrigued? So, let's dive into the story of Vicente Riva Palacio and his research into the black...
Fair use. This is fair use. And I've studied this myself. I'm just using this video, but I've already studied this outside of YouTube. I'm well read and I'm well studied. I understand the black presence in the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade. I get it. I understand that. The Mayans were not the people you see today who claim to be Mexicans are not the Mayans. The people you see, the Mexicans of today, are not the Aztecs. They are not. The Aztecs, the Mayans, and Olmecs were dark-skinned, melanated people.
Indigenous presence in the into the story of Vicente Riva Palacio and his research into the black indigenous presence in the Americas. Vicente Riva Palacio was not just any scholar, he was a man of action and thought. Born into a lineage of revolutionaries, he carried the legacy of his grandfather, the great Mexican revolutionary, and President Vicente Guerrero, who won Mexico their independence. But Palacio didn't just inherit a legacy, he built his own. He was a politician, an intellectual, and a fighter. During the mid-1860s, Palacio played a vital role in protecting Mexico during the French intervention. His courage and strategic brilliance were widely revered, but his contributions didn't stop at the battlefield. Palacio was also a respected intellectual, dedicating his later years to the craft of writing, adding to the intellectual prowess of Mexico.
Oh man, they're gonna be punching. Hey man, they're gonna be windmilling in the air with, oh, that's not true, Vato. Of course, you're not gonna admit that because you think like a Spanish conquistador. The Spanish conquistadors erased the history of Mexico. The Spanish conquistadors erased the history of Mexico, then rewrote the history of Mexico. So you can't expect for modern day Mexicans to be honest about the history of melanated black people in the Americas. They'll never be honest. They'll never be honest about that. Why? Because it goes against their teachings. It goes against their indoctrination. Keep in mind, I didn't say it goes against their education. It goes against their indoctrination.
Elected to the Supreme Court of Justice from 1868 to 1870, Palacio's influence was felt far and wide. But it was his pen that left an indelible mark on the canvas of history. One of his most famous works, a collaboration with Mexican archaeologist Alfredo Chavero and others, was entitled Mexico Through the Centuries. This historical opus was more than just a chronicle. It was an acknowledgement of the diverse roots of Mexican culture. It was a journey through time, tracing the footprints of the first inhabitants of the Americas, offering insights into their
inhabitants of the Americas were dark-skinned, melanated people. These are historical facts. It is scientifically proven.
Lives, their struggles, and their offering insights into their lives, their struggles, and their contributions to the world as we know it today. Mexico Through the Centuries was not just a book, it was a milestone in Mexican historiography. It was a testament to Palacio's intellectual prowess and his commitment to uncovering the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or controversial it might be. It was in this very work that Palacio made the groundbreaking acknowledgement of the Black indigenous presence in the Americas. So, what exactly did Palacio say about the Black indigenous presence in the Americas? Well, let's dive into the heart of the matter. In his work, Mexico Through the Centuries, Palacio delves into the mysterious
and punching it. Oh, no, it's not true. Of course you're going to say it's not true. It goes against your indoctrination. It goes against your indoctrination, not your education. You can't expect people who've been brainwashed and colonized by Spanish conquistadors to tell the truth about history. They'll never do that.
Origins of the first inhabitants of the Americas. He starts by questioning the existence of the black man on the continent. According to him, the black race was the first in the world and spread all over it due to the union of the continents. He poses a thought-provoking question. Did the Otomi already exist here when the black man arrived? The Otomi, for those who might not know, are an indigenous people of Mexico. He suggests that the black race might have been expelled, leaving behind traces that contradict the autochthonous characters of the Otomi race. Palacio then draws our attention to the archaeological evidence. He points out the little heads from Teotihuacan, an ancient Mesoamerican city located in a sub-valley of the Valley of Mexico, as a clear trace of the black race. These little heads made of clay were found in burial mounds among various objects. Palacio suggests that these heads were not formed arbitrarily, but were modeled after certain individuals. He notes that some of these heads have distinct features like flattened noses and protruding lips, which could only be attributed to individuals of the black race.
Because we are the original man and woman, black melanated people, we are the original race on planet Earth. We was on every continent. We are the original man and woman. Hit the like button and support the channel. The truth is, hit the like button and support the channel. The truth is way more than you can handle. The truth is way more than you guys can handle. So you're windmilling, you're punching in the air and saying, no, this is not true. You can never expect people who've been indoctrinated by Spanish conquistadors to be honest about history. It goes against their indoctrination.
Arbitrarily, but were modeled after certain individuals. He notes that some of these heads have distinct features like flattened noses and protruding lips, which could only be attributed to individuals of the black race. He goes further to say that among these little heads, some belong to known types, while others refer to figures and headdresses that are completely strange and different from those recorded in historical times, indicating unknown ages and races different from those of later times. In essence, Palacio believes that these little heads are a testament to the ancient existence of the black race on the continent. According to him, the discovery of these heads of the black race type is enough to venture the affirmation of their ancient existence in the region. According to Palacio, these archaeological findings are clear traces of the black race, indicating that they were among the first inhabitants of what is now Mexico. So, the first Mexicans were black, according to Vicente Riva Palacio. This is not a frivolous claim. Were black according to Vicente race, indicating that they were among the first inhabitants of what is now Mexico. So, the first Mexicans were black according to Vicente Riva Palacio. This is not a frivolous claim. Palacio, a respected scholar, politician, and the grandson of a revolutionary, left no stone unturned.
Oh my God. Listen, man. And listen, this ain't the only, this is scientifically proven. This is not my thoughts. These are not my feelings. I'm giving you the irrefutable facts. It is scientifically proven. But at the same time, like I said before, and I said again, this goes against their indoctrination. 100%. Make sure that you guys hit that like button and share the channel and share the content.
So, the first Mexicans were black according to Vicente Riva Palacio. This is not a frivolous claim. Palacio, a respected scholar, politician, and the grandson of a revolutionary, left no stone unturned in his research. His findings, as documented in Mexico through the centuries, revealed the existence of a black indigenous presence in the Americas. This was a time long before the arrival of the Otomi, one of the earliest known inhabitants of Mexico. Palacio's evidence? Intriguing little clay heads discovered in the ruins of Teotihuacan, an ancient city in Mexico.
Oh, listen to that. And I've studied this myself. I'm not basic. My knowledge is deeper than just what's being said in this video. I've done my own research and studies myself. But I know this to be true because it aligns with everything that I studied. This is scientifically proven. This goes against their indoctrination, 100%.
Clay heads discovered Omi, one of the earliest known inhabitants, revealed the existence of a black indigenous presence in the Americas. This was a time long before the arrival of the Otomi, one of the earliest known inhabitants of Mexico. Palacio's evidence? Intriguing little clay heads discovered in the ruins of Teotihuacan, an ancient city in Mexico. These artifacts, detailed with flattened noses and protruding lips, were indicative of the black race. The uniqueness of these facial features, so distinct from other types known in historical times, led Palacio to a bold conclusion: the first Mexicans were black. This is a fascinating topic that challenges our conventional understanding of history and reminds us that there is always more to learn. This journey through America's hidden past is just beginning. If this glimpse into a world lost to time has captured your imagination, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more best-selling books.
Oh man, they're gonna be windmilling and punching the air over this, man. I promise you they are. They ain't gonna want to hear this. Oh Lordy Jesus. Fair use. And you know you got people who've been trying to flag my channel. So I gotta, check this out right here. This is Black Journals, right? This is also fair use. Check this out. Some of the founders of Los Angeles were actually black. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you this right here. Check this out. Hit the like button and support the show. King Supreme is delivering straight. Check this out.
Afro-Mexicans of Los Angeles.
You know where I live?
Check this out right here. We're talking about Afro-Mexicans.
To connect the adapter to it?
Heidi and Maria
See,
Ira
Mexicans
run
want to tell you that black people only came as runaway slaves, but no, there was a black population that existed in Mexico and the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade, prior to the black Seminoles from Florida fleeing to Mexico to help them in their fight against Spain. Because like I said, the black Seminoles in Florida were already fighting against the Spanish in Florida because Florida was once a Spanish territory. So the Black Seminoles, which is a Black indigenous tribe, they were fighting against the Spaniards, putting belt to ass in Florida. So the Mexican government wanted the Black Seminoles to come to Mexico and help them in their fight against the Spanish, because they was already putting belt to ass in Florida against the Spanish. These are historical facts.
Malena, an Afro-Mexican restaurant in LA. The sisters make up what they estimate is a community of about a couple hundred Afro-Mexicans in Los Angeles.
I think it's a bloodline of Lorenzo's.
Lorenzo is their mom's maiden name. Maria Elena Lorenzo immigrated to Los Angeles in the 90s from an area known as Costa Chica, Guerrero in Mexico.
Guerrero was named after Vincent Guerrero. See this Black woman, this beautiful Black woman? She's an Afro-Mexican, a beautiful Black woman. Gorgeous and beautiful. Dark-skinned, melanated Black woman. Guerrero was named after Vincent Guerrero. Vincent Guerrero, listen. Let me blow this up real quick. They named this city Guerrero, and they named it after Vincent Guerrero. Vincent Guerrero was the second president of Mexico. His nickname was El Negro. El Negro, Vincent Guerrero, abolished slavery in Mexico. Gaspar Yanga, there's a town called Yanga in southern Mexico. Yanga came from Africa, and he was a soldier. He fought against the Spanish. He defeated the Spanish in several battles in southern Mexico. Vincent Guerrero and Gaspar Yanga played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. And so did the Black Seminoles, who came from Florida, and they went to Mexico to help Mexico in their fight against the Spanish, to help Mexico to gain their independence from Spain. So Black people in Mexico Blacks in Mexico played a major role in Mexican independence. That is a historical fact. Now let's get into this.
Restaurant in LA. The sisters make up what they estimate is a community of about a couple hundred Afro-Mexicans in Los Angeles.
I think it's a bloodline of Lorenzo's.
Lorenzo is their mom's maiden name. Maria Elena Lorenzo immigrated to Los Angeles in the 90s from an area known as Costa Chica, Guerrero in Mexico.
That whole strip of Mexico, we look different. We have curly hair, black curly hair. Not me, but my sisters. They took on the trade of the Afro indigenous culture.
It's estimated there are more than 3.
Check this out right here.
Indigenous culture.
It's estimated there are more than 3.1 million Afro-Mexicans, or people of African descent, in Mexico. They've been a part of the country's fabric since the 1500s. But if you look in the history...
Since the 1500s and prior to the I want you to hear, at least he's being honest. And there's certain things that he left out, but he's doing the best that he can.
They've been a part of the country's fabric since the 1500s. But if you look in the history books, you'll have a hard time finding them.
Most of the research.
The reason why you're going to have a hard time finding this information in the history books, because Mexico has been brainwashed by Spanish conquistadors. It goes against their indoctrination to tell the truth about history. Let's take it back from the top.
A part of the country's fabric.
Afro indigenous culture.
It's estimated there are more than 3.1 million Afro-Mexicans, or people of African descent, in Mexico. They've been a part of the country's fabric since the 1500s. But if you look in the history books, you'll have a hard time finding them.
Most of the researchers focus on the dichotomy of the Spaniards and the indigenous communities. But very few people talk about the Africans who came, the esclavos.
But go to places like Coajinicuilapa, Guerrero.
Blacks was already in Mexico prior to the slave trade. He don't know what he's talking about, but he's doing the best that he can.
And their presence is undeniable.
El concepto afromexicana va mucho más allá de tener piel morena, de ser rizada.
How did the strip from Guerrero to Oaxaca become a haven for Afro-Mexicans?
Yeah, man. The Afro-Mexicans still to this day are there in southern Mexico. That's where the pyramids are. There's no coincidence that the pyramids in Mexico are in southern Mexico, and that's where you're going to find your Afro-Mexican population, in southern Mexico. The same area where you could find the pyramids. That's in southern Mexico. Come on, man.
De tener piel morena.
de esclavos.
But go to places like Coajinicuilapa, Guerrero, and their presence is undeniable.
El concepto afromexicana va mucho más allá de tener piel morena, de ser rizada.
How did the strip from Guerrero to Oaxaca become a haven for Afro-Mexicans? How did Mexico become a new home for the African diaspora and even elect an Afro-Mexican president? And where in the United States are Afro-Mexican communities the most common? Oh, and what does Afro-Mexican
Vincent Guerrero, the second president of Mexico, his nickname was El Negro. El Negro abolished slavery in Mexico. So a black man abolished slavery in Mexico. Black people fought off the Spanish army, Gasparianga and his soldiers. Let's look up Gasparianga real quick, man. I'm going to show you Gasparianga. Like I said, bro, this goes against the indoctrination.
Mexican food look like? My name is Fernando, and this story is about the hyphen between Mexico and Africa.
De la presencia de los peninsulares españoles, justo en esa coyuntura histórica es cuando arriban acompañando por un lado las huestes, por ejemplo las de Hernán Cortés en calidad de conquistadores.
But the majority of Africans arrived in Mexico, back then New Spain, as enslaved people a few years later to replace indigenous slave labor.
Justo cuando se da este periodo.
So they use black people to replace so-called indigenous slave labor, but they're not being honest because blacks are indigenous to this land. But let's take it a step further. Blacks did a lot of the labor in Mexico, which built Mexico's economy because blacks were more built for the physical labor. If you go to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, black people were stronger and more physically superior. That's why they use blacks for the labor to build these countries. But see, Mexicans and Latinos understand it. You know why they wanted black people to build these countries? Because black people had the physical strength to endure a lot of this stuff. And a lot of the indigenous people died off. So they said the melanated people are stronger and physically superior. That's why they use them for the labor. Now that goes against their indoctrination, but I'm giving you the irrefutable facts. We're going to use these black people to build because they have the physical strength, they have the endurance.
Proceso de conquista, hay un descenso demográfico de las poblaciones indígenas mayúsculo por las nuevas enfermedades que empezaron a transmitirse. Y eso vulneró significativamente a los pueblos originarios.
It's estimated that the Spaniards forcibly brought upwards of 200,000 West African people as slaves in the 16th century.
Pero es principalmente el puerto.
Hit the like button, man. It ain't nothing.
Devastating aftermaths down mercilessly on a dusty trail, where a band of 44 souls, 11 families, walked towards destiny. These brave individuals were the pobladores, a name that whispered townspeople in the Spanish tongue. But their story was anything but ordinary. Traversing more than 1,000 miles across the desert
to the census recorded taken at the time, there were 2 persons of African ancestry, 8 Spanish and...
Now I'm going to show you how Los Angeles was built and how Los Angeles was founded. How black people had a lot to do with building Los Angeles.
Did you know that Mexicans of African descent established the city of Los Angeles in 1781? Did you know that Mexicans of African descent established the city of Los Angeles in 1781? That's right, folks. Black people founded the city of Los Angeles, the historic city, Los Angeles, California, founded by black people.
The Los Angeles pobladores, or townspeople, were a group of 44 settlers and 4 soldiers from Mexico who established the famed city on May 26th in 1781 in what is now California. The settlers came from various Spanish castes, with over half of the group being African descent. Governor of Las Californias, Felipe de Neve, called on 11 families to help build the new city in the region by recruiting them from Sonora and Sinaloa, Mexico. According to the census recorded taken at the time, there were 2 persons of African ancestry, 8 Spanish and black persons, and 9 American Indians. There was also 1 Spanish and...
See, this is the history. You got Mexicans who don't even know that black people played a major role in funding Los Angeles. Black people played a major role in liberating Mexico from Spain. Black people played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. You got Mexicans of today who don't know that, but you can't expect for them to know because they've been indoctrinated. These teachings goes against their indoctrination. They don't even know that black people played a major role in liberating Mexico from Spain. They don't even know that black people played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. They don't even know that black people played a major role in founding the city of Los Angeles. They don't know that because it goes against their teachings. It goes against their what? Indoctrination. I'm giving you real education, not indoctrination.
Spanish. To the census recorded taken at the time, there were 2 persons of African ancestry, 8 Spanish and black persons, and 9 American Indians. There was also 1 Spanish and Indian person, with the rest being Spaniards.
It is important to understand that during that time, the territory of Mexico included the state of California, Texas, Arizona.
And keep in mind, California was Mexico for 27 years, from 1821 to 1848. California was Mexico. Let me repeat that for you people who are too slow. California was ruled by Mexico from 1821 to 1848. So California was only Mexico for 27 years. I'm giving you the historical facts, the irrefutable facts.
And several other states which are American territories today. But during that time, they were all considered Mexican territory. In later years, the southern part of that region was sectioned off to be what we know as Mexico today. And keep in mind, many of the early settlers, even though they had Spanish surnames, were actually black people. Even though they had Spanish surnames, were actually black people. Names like Ortiz, Cabrera, Clemente, La Negra. You get the point.
According to the efforts of historian William M. Mason, the actual racial makeup of the pobladores was more racially balanced than not. Mason wrote that of the 44, only 2 were white, while 26 were of African ancestry, and that 16 of the group were mestizos, or mixed Spanish and Indian people. The pobladores founded the city, El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora La Reina de los Ángeles sobre el Río Porciuncula, Spanish for the town of Our Lady Queen of the Angels on the Porciuncula River, that day after some priests found the area 10 years prior. Another historian, Dr. Antonio Rios Bustamante, states that Los Angeles original settlers were even more mixed than...
Crown holder, you don't know nothing. You're a Spanish conquistador that's speaking on false rhetoric. That's your indoctrination. Crown holder, you are pathetic. You're not educated. You're indoctrinated, but you're not educated. You think like a Spanish conquistador. Do you know that the Spanish conquistadors erased the history of Mexico? Just like the British settlers in America erased the history of the Americas to rewrite history. Europeans are known for erasing history. First, you have to erase the history. And once you erase the history, you rewrite the history to give your own story. And you won't tell the truth about history. That's exactly how it goes. The Spanish conquistadors erased the true history of Mexico. Do you know that Mexico barely added black people to the census? Do you know that Mexico barely added black folks to the Constitution, and black folks played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain? So what does that tell you? Those of us with common sense already know. But I don't expect for you to have common sense. You think like a Spanish conquistador. You've been indoctrinated. You are far from educated, crown holder. You think like a Spanish European conquistador.
The census stated, but was that African, Indian, and European ancestry was a hallmark. In Los Angeles, the El Pueblo de Los Angeles State Historic Park honored the pobladores. The El Pueblo even more mixed than the census stated, but was that African, Indian, and European ancestry was a hallmark. In Los Angeles, the El Pueblo de Los Angeles State Historic Park honored the pobladores in the 1950s with a plaque, but it was mysteriously removed. In a Los Angeles Times report, it was suggested that the removal of the plaque was racially motivated. However, in 1981, during the city's bicentennial, the plaque was replaced.
So you see, Los Angeles has a lot more black history than most people realize. In 1872, the first African Methodist Episcopal Church was established in Los Angeles when emancipated blacks began moving to the city in significant numbers toward the end of the Civil War. In 1885, the Second Baptist Church for African Americans was built. Now, the first African Methodist Episcopal Church was founded by Bridget Biddy Mason, who arrived as a slave in Los Angeles in 1856. However, since California was a free state, Mason, with the help of local black and white abolitionists, successfully sued in court to win her freedom. In 1920,
a lot of Mexicans don't even know who Biddy Mason is. So how could you trust somebody who don't even know who Biddy Mason is and their contributions to the state of California, to the city of Los Angeles? Mexicans don't even know who Biddy Mason is. A lot of them are ignorant when it comes to history, but can you blame them? They've been brainwashed and indoctrinated by the Spanish conquistadors. They have a European mindset. I'm giving you the irrefutable facts.
Paul Revere Williams, a famous black architect, credited for freedom. In 1920, Paul Revere Williams, a famous black architect, credited for shaping Los Angeles, began designing homes and commercial buildings throughout the cities. Locations like Central Avenue became the focal point for African American communities. In fact, Central Avenue was the location of the vibrant Los Angeles jazz scene that attracted such greats as Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Bessie Smith, and others. And to this date, Dr. Ralph J. Bunche's home, who was the first person of color to win the Nobel Peace Prize, remains a landmark on Central Avenue. The Dunbar Hotel, originally known as the Hotel Somerville on Central Avenue, was completely financed and built solely by black people, known as one of the finest black-owned hotels in the nation. Who knew? Although I dare say that many people did know from the West Coast the impact that black people had on the establishment of the great city of Los Angeles. We were there at the very beginning. We were among the founding fathers. So when we think of the great city of Los Angeles, just know that black people had a hand in the development, the establishment, and the maintaining of this city, this great American city. So you see, folks.
So they'll never admit that, but you can't expect them to be honest about history. Mexico was dominated and colonized by the Spanish conquistadors, so that's where their indoctrination come from. What are Europeans known for doing? First, they erase the history, then they rewrite the history, then they tell their story. Let me walk you down the line again. First, they must erase the history, then they rewrite the history, then they tell their story. That is what Europeans are known for doing. So the Mexicans that you see today, they're 50% Spaniard. So they have a lot of those Spanish conquistador beliefs. So they'll never be honest about history. Why? Because it goes against their what? It goes against their indoctrination.
Our people have a rich, rich history in the city of Los Angeles, one that goes back to the very beginning of the establishment of this land.
All right, you guys. Now listen, man. I didn't give you guys the irrefutable facts. This is scientifically proven. I can drop more science. I can give you more evidence to prove that blacks been in the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade. Blacks been in Mexico prior to the 1500s. There was no such thing as a Mexican prior to the 1500s. I'm going to give you the irrefutable facts, the historical facts. That's realer than rap, no cap. Just like this baseball hat, no cap. You dig? Shout out to Miss T. Wilson. I see you up in the building. Shout out to my girl, Miss T. Wilson. That's a beautiful black woman right there. That's a beautiful black woman right there. Shout out to Miss T. Wilson. Shout out to all the beautiful black women that's been showing their love and major support to this podcast. Shout out to my girl, Ambitions of a Rider. That's another beautiful black woman right there. That's a major supporter of King Supreme TV. Shout out to Ambitions of a Rider. Shout out to all the beautiful melanated sisters that rock with your boy in a major way. Shout out to T Tiger 23 for the 20 on the super chat. Said this is awesome history. The truth being revealed. I didn't know this. Thanks. Hey man, I'm gonna give you the irrefutable fact. I'm gonna give you the irrefutable facts, the historical facts. Game delivered by King Supreme in a major way. Hey, homie, I stand on FBA business. It's easy to argue with this. It's easy to argue with these Africans. That's the easiest thing to do. The Africans are homeless. The Africans are not overpopulating your communities. The Africans are not going to war with you on these city streets. It's the Latinos. They're the ones who want to replace you. They're the ones who are copying and mimicking black culture and swagger jacking black people. And if they don't like it, oh well, I'm just giving you the facts. Now, if they paid homage and say, okay, we do get this from black people, we pay homage to the things that black people done, to all the music, to all the history, to the countless inventions, I wouldn't have a problem. But I am calling them out because they're not being honest about history. And I'm here to give you the irrefutable facts to prove everything that I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying can be scientifically proven. Peace, love, and blessings to the foundational Black American. If you're melanated, B1, FBA, Hebrew Israelites, or whatever you want to, well, the Hebrew Israelites, that's a whole nother story. I think I'll do a live stream about the Hebrews and how they're trying to include people who are not us. That's a whole nother story. I'll get into that in a minute. Shout out to T Tiger for the super chat. Shout out to Anwar Williams for the 7 on the super chat. I appreciate you. Right? Shout out to my girl Tamika. My girl Tamika has blessed us with a 20 on the Cash App. Shout out to all of my people for supporting this content in a major way. Everything that I say can be scientifically proven. Bless the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hey, homie, we're going to blow this channel up in a major way. We're not going to get this channel shadow banned. I don't use profanity on this channel. See, this is why this channel is going to blow up, and it's going to be much larger than Red Supreme TV 1 because we don't use profanity on this channel. We don't use racial slurs on this channel. This channel is not shadow banned. This channel is monetized, and we will continue to rise, delivering straight-laced game by your play upon the King Supreme. Peace to everybody. Make sure that you like the content. I'm gone.